Protests have popped up at colleges throughout New Jersey over the past couple of days. Protests by professors who don't like what they consider to be unfair pay and benefit cuts. And joining us now is the president of William Paterson University, Dr. Kathleen Waldron. It's good of you to join us, President Waldron. Give me a sense, first of all, we've seen some of these protests out there. Do you think the professors have a point?
Mike, it's hard to say whether, depending on what point you're making, but you know, the professors have been without a contract now since June 30th, and that's unusual for New Jersey. So I think that people are getting anxious about not the amount of time it's taking to achieve a contract, and that takes negotiation on the part of both sides to move forward.
Is it impacting education at all, as far as you can tell?
I think anytime you have faculty who feel anxious about their futures or are unhappy about their futures, it probably affects the way they view their jobs and teach in the classroom. But from William Paterson's point of view, our faculty have been terrific with the students this year. So we're heading toward final exams and term papers, and it's been a very intense time of year. So far, so good.
How would you characterize this past year and the state of education as a whole? We hear so much about the universities in New Jersey being challenged in terms of infrastructure and a variety of other areas as well. Are you satisfied with what you have and how you can deliver?
You know, of course I'm not satisfied. I would love more support, and I think that our political leaders are finally, at least to me, from my point of view, are hearing the desperate need for renewed support for higher education in New Jersey. We've just experienced over a 10-year decline in public support for higher education, and that's when the economy was doing well, when the economy is doing bad, so it's not even tied necessarily to economic movements. And I'm very encouraged by the part of the governor and our legislators that they're now talking about really seriously looking at funding facility projects at our institutions in the state, which is something that hasn't really happened since 1988.
We've got a really interesting facility there, which basically looks like a car park cover that is truly solar. Tell me a little bit about how that came to be.
That's a great project that started at William Paterson. We do have solar panels all over our parking garages and on some of the roofs of the buildings. And this is one of the first public-private partnerships in the state. That solar facility was built by private people who we partnered with at no cost to us. They now supply us with about 20% of our electricity, and we're saving millions of dollars in electricity costs projected over the last couple of years. It opened about a year and a half ago, survived hurricanes, snowstorms, earthquake, and it's a real success, and the students love it.
We talked about some economic trends a couple of moments ago. Class of 2012 is getting ready to walk out the door and look for work. And
right.
How would you, at this point, how would you describe their predicament or their opportunities right now? Better than last year or the same?
Our data shows that the opportunities are a little better for them over last year, but we've got a long way to go before the class of 2012 is going to be a happy class. Some students, depending upon the majors they've taken, already have jobs. Some have multiple job offers. Other students are going to have to be in the market a lot longer before they obtain employment. And we have a very active career development office that starts working with students when they're sophomores to get them ready for their postgraduate programs.
Are you seeing more students decide to go to grad school because of limited job opportunities?
Yes, and I actually think that's a good thing as long as they can afford it, because we have seen more students go on to medical school, to go on for business degrees, go on for nursing degrees, health professions. And if they can't get jobs and they can afford to go on for graduate school, it's a good time to do that, because we live in a very competitive part of the United States. So eventually those students to move on with their professions are going to need those master's degrees anyway. So if they accelerate that process, I think that's smart for them.
And you mentioned there are some out there briefly that do have multiple job opportunities. What are their majors?
Yes.
For example, what did they major in?
Students, I'm sorry?
So what did they major in? They're the lucky ones that are in hot demand.
There's a few fields that are in hot demand. Our nursing students are getting jobs. Our teachers coming out with teaching degrees if they've had some really good teaching experiences in schools with the practicums. Our accounting students, our business students are getting good jobs. Many of our students in communications are getting excellent starting jobs based upon internships they had in their junior and senior years.
Well, that's encouraging.
Other fields are harder.
Yeah, that's good news. You know what? Let's check back and see how this evolves, because it's fascinating. It's a wonderful economic indicator, and we appreciate your taking the time to share that information and a whole lot more with us as well. Dr. Waldron, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mike.